in the preparations of Georgian night. It's Sana, Miles, Debbie working hard. So, there is Seri in charge of all the alcoholic drinks. Hey Alan, say hi. There's Helen. There's Justin, who's gonna be in charge of all the...
Yeah, he freaked out.
Here's the technology crew. The guys who are gonna do all the hard work behind the scenes.
But he's still really polite about the whole thing.
Yeah,
he was like...
Here's Alicia, one of the best dancers in the crew tonight. You guys are gonna see her.
What did you think of the performance?
I think it's great. I have to see it closely. Yeah.
I hope my turns are graceful. Like.
No, yeah, they're like so pretty. I like the dresses, like how they like flow around. I got like, anyway, it's gonna go over 2 hours. Baby. Start. We're 15 minutes to the start of the event. There's people outside. There we can see Mr. Sterling, Dean Sterling, no one. Starting. There's Helen.
Hello. How are you?
Yes, I'm filming tonight.
Wow. Georgian cultural event.
Georgian.
Things are happening. Okay?
Huh?
When people are eating in the junior common room, take that stuff also, okay?
Okay. You have any?
Sorry to get you in here, JP. How are you?
Yeah. We're okay.
The jazz band practicing before. Gonna go through the junior common room where people is getting ready to eat some. Hi. What do you think of the food?
I think it's really good. It's weird. Like, I've never had anything like this, but it's quite tasty.
I gotta income. What do you think of the food, Jen?
It's really great. The presentation of the salads is something I've never seen before, like in the rice balls kind of. And the meat has a distinctive flavor I've never tasted before, but it's really good.
Cool, thank you. And outside, we have all the people waiting to get some fruit. Some Georgian fruit cake.
Which country you are from?
Sorry, Bolivia.
Ah.
I see. Do you think I look mustache?
Yeah, just
mustache. I can grow a mustache and I pretend I'm Georgian. Yeah.
Ah, you are a student here?
Yes, I'm a sophomore.
What major?
Nice to meet you. Huh?
What major?
Philosophy.
Philosophy. Ah. Oh, cool. Is it 2 years or 4 years?
4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go around filming.
Okay. I will
See ya. Catherine Hancock.
That's the turkey.
Pretty good. Are you excited for the Georgian night?
Oh, so excited.
So excited. You cannot even articulate how excited you are.
To say.
Yeah. Well, see ya. We have one Johnny here, called Johnny Epps. Are you excited for the Georgian Cultural Night?
I am very excited. I'm actually from a different Georgia myself. We're like sister countries,
I see. It's interesting.
except for mine's a state.
That is very hard. Hania, what do you think of the food?
The food is delicious.
Delicious?
It's amazing.
It's amazing. What about you, Malcolm?
I really like it. I think it's tasty and I want to eat more of it.
It's great. Thanks guys for coming.
Thank you.
We're still in the right now. We're about to have the meal.
Hey guys, Lucas Datcher. What do you think of the food?
I think it's very good.
Do you want to say something to the cookers?
Good job. I didn't know you had it in you.
That's some words of inspiration from Lucas.
Yes.
What do you think of the food?
It's like getting lost on a desert island and then finding like a pack of mac and cheese somewhere and then you eat it. It just tastes so good. It's kind of like that, only better.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you have something to say for the cookers?
Yes, thank you so much for cooking this delicious and awesome food, and I hope that everything goes well for your guys' night.
Thank you. Here, making line to taste some Georgian wine.
You can come back and that's where they so we have 2 reds. This is a white.
Please, wine will be
We have a really nice decoration on the piano. Candles. What do you guys think of the food?
The food is delicious. It is very good. Because I helped make it. That was good. But mostly because of Helen's recipes, so that was awesome.
I see. See you
Where's the
guys.
video going to?
Here. No.
The bottles cost from the importer and so we just have them on auction because we can't sell bottles. So in the silent auction we have bottles that you can bid on. Which one? And this is called the Vinotera Saporami. Thank you. All right.
Hey guys, what do you think about the wine?
Well, my favorite one was the third one, which is the Vino Terra Saparavi. And I thought it was very rich and yummy.
The wines are very distinctive, very interesting wines, and we hope to go home with a bottle.
Thank you very much. So we're about to start. Here are some of the dancers. Hey guys, Raquel, Nancy, go.
Georgia. The Republic of Georgia covers a territory of around 40,000 miles and has a population of almost 5 million. It is bounded to the west by the Black Sea, to the north by Russia, to the south by Turkey and Armenia, and to the south is by Azerbaijan. Being of great strategic importance because it is situated at the crossroads of the Western Asia and Eastern Europe, Georgia was and continues to be the object of rivalry between the Roman Empire, Persia, Turkey and Russia over many centuries. These rivalries led to multiple conflicts on the territory of Georgia and marked the beginning of the constant struggle for Georgians to maintain their independence, the struggle that continues in the present day.
According to the ancient Georgian chronicles, the ancestor of the ethnic Georgians, Kartvelemic people, is the great-grandson of the biblical Japhet, one of 3 Noah's sons. But the territory of Georgia has been inhabited long before Noah and his sons.
Colchis. The name of Colchis first appears in Aeschylus, who speaks of the citizens of Aya, the kingdom of King Aetheus, as homeland of the most fearless women in wars. According to Apollonius, Aya lied at the farthest limits of the earth and represented the end of the known world for the ancient Greeks. Even Herodotus mentions Colchis in his histories, in which he considers them of Egyptian origin, due to the similarity of the customs between the nations. Furthermore, Colchis is thought to be the possible land of Amazons, and the land where the mythological Prometheus was punished by being chained to a mountain.
However, the ancient kingdom of Colchis is probably best known as the home of Aetheus and Medea, and the destination of Jason and his Argonauts on his way to finding the Golden Fleece. After sweeping along Colchis, the Argon entered the river Phasis that still remains as the reminder of the sailing of the ancient heroes into Colchis. Following Jason's suggestion of parleying with the king and offering to defend his kingdom in return for the fleece, the Argonauts sat down for a feast with King Aetheus. Now, one must realize that Colchis for the ancient Greeks was a cruel and barbarous country, whose power depended on Aetheus holding the Golden Fleece. The old and tall towers built as a defense from the neighbors because of the blood fuses represented the very image of barbarian. To be as bold as Jason meant certain death. But Jason counted on the sacred laws of hospitality in the country, and indeed, those laws saved his life that night at the feast, similar to today's traditional Georgian supper. King Aetheus became furious at Jason's request of the fleece because he knew of the oracle that proclaimed that he would lose his kingdom when he loses the fleece. Instead of killing Jason because of the loss of hospitality, King Aetheus gave him a challenge. Of course, the task was impossible for anyone but a god. But in the meanwhile, Aphrodite made Medea, the princess of Colchis, the most powerful magician in the kingdom and the guardian of the fleece, fall in love with Jason. And so Medea saved Jason's life and helped him fulfill the challenge. In return, Jason promised to marry her and take her back to Brizotia.
Unified Kingdom. Iberian and Colchian Kingdom, unified in the 9th century AD, arriving at the peak of their flourish under Queen Tamar. Her position as the first woman to rule Georgia in her own right was emphasized by the title Mepe, king, commonly afforded to Tamar in the medieval Georgian sources. Sent to the queen the following polite message.
I would have fain to know, O Tamar, Sultan of the Georgians, that all women are of great understanding. Now I come to teach thee and thy people, no longer to draw the sword which God has given into our hands alone.
Tamar read the message without haste. She gave her commands for the troops to assemble, and she herself rode out at the head of her army against the enemy. The victory was complete. The streets of the capital were decorated, and the queen made her triumphal entry, glittering like the sun.
To illustrate the grandeur and respect Tamar had from Georgians, the following quote will suffice. In those times, we had nothing but the name of Tamar on our lips, a Acrostics in honor of the queen were written on the walls of houses. Rings, knives, and pilgrim staves were adorned with her praises. Every man's tongue strove to utter something worthy of Tamar's name. Women sang verses to her as they tilled the soil. Musicians coming to Iraq celebrated her fame with music. Franks and Greeks hummed her praises as they sailed the seas in fair weather. The whole earth was filled with her praise. She was celebrated in every language wherever her name was known. In history and legends, Tamar remains one of the most honored and praised characters of Georgian tradition.
Crossroads, where Europe meets Asia. Its geography includes the fertile valleys of the South Caucasus. According to the ancient Greek myth, when Jason and the Argonauts reached Colchis to climb the Golden Fleece, they witnessed many wonders, including hanging vineyards and fountains that gushed wine. The myth is supported by current archaeological evidence. An article published in Archaeology, the Journal of the Archaeological Institute of America, cites evidence of viticulture and winemaking over 7,000 years ago. Thus, Georgia is considered the birthplace of winemaking. Due to the many millennia of winemaking in Georgian history, the traditions of its viticulture are entwined and inseparable from the country's national identity. Wine is a symbol of regeneration, of wealth and plenty.
One other thing about Georgian wine, it's been really interesting researching it, and there's been quite a bit of controversy that I've heard about whether or not Georgia is the birthplace of wine. And I have read the article in the Journal of Archaeology, and he says that he's not sure how one makes the criteria to the claim as to where the birthplace of wine is, but he is certain that the oldest evidence that they currently have about winemaking and the vessels for making the wine is in Georgia currently. So there's that. I hope you enjoy your evening.
Georgian language. Georgian language dated 2000 years BC belongs to the Paleo-Caucasian ethno-linguistic family, the representative people of which are direct descendants of the oldest population of Caucasus. According to some scholars, the Kartvelian language later split into Svan and Common Georgian Zan, which further divided into the languages of Georgia, Mingrelian, and Laz.
Georgian national dance. Georgia prides itself with its exceptional culture. Georgian national dance being its distinguishing part. Breathtaking and absolutely awesome Georgian national dances represent a life history book expressing the centuries of Georgian art, culture, and tradition. Each dance narrates the history of how people in Georgia used to love, live, and encounter enemies or friends. Kartuli. The dance Kartuli reminds the audience of a way. It originally comes from the region called Kartli, the place where King's Palace used to be. Kartuli is a truly romantic dance. It is performed by a dance couple and incorporates the softness and gracefulness of a woman, and dignity and love of a man. The dance shows that, even in love, men uphold their respect and manners by not touching the woman and maintaining a certain distance from her. The man focuses his eyes on his partner, as if she were the only woman in the whole world. Horumi. This war dance has originated in the region of Ajay, which is located in the southwest of Georgia. The dance brings to life the Georgian army of the past centuries. Hefsururi. This mountain dance is probably the vast representation of the Georgian spirit. It unifies love, courage, and respect for women. Toughness, competition, skill, beauty, and colorfulness into one amazing performance. The dance starts out with a flirting couple. Unexpectedly, another young man appears, also seeking the hand of the woman. A conflict breaks out and soon turns into a vigorous fighting between the two men and their supporters. Temporarily by the woman's way. Traditionally, when a woman throws her head well between two men, all disagreements and fighting stop. However, as soon as the woman leaves the scene, the fighting continues even more vigorously.
arts education in the country of Georgia. During its existence, according to St. John's College reading list, and usually with inviting tutors and students from St. John's College to Georgia, the founders of OLEG have organized several summer courses. In the summer of 2010, Georgia and OLEG has hosted Miss Patricia Locke. Steve Brown has visited and taught in Georgia.
And I remember when I first heard about Georgia for the first time from, it sort of sounded like this magical place of beauty and culture and tradition and history. A lot of the things that we love at St. John's, namely old things that were there, things that we discovered, as well as some of its beauty. And I remember falling in love right away with this idea of a place that was being mentioned in the books that we read freshman year, mentioned in Herodotus, the land of Colchis, place where Jason and the Argonauts went. And it seemed like a perfect and interesting place for Johnny's. So in 2008, we founded this organization called the Organization for Liberal Education in Georgia. And what it's doing is leveraging the community of St. John's, primarily in Annapolis, but now with the efforts of Helen to reach out to Santa Fe as well. Programs where we take tutors and Johnnies over to Georgia to run classes in the St. John's style, usually about 1 to 2 week long courses in which we take short readings. And we try to have people be exposed to the method of liberal arts education that we practice at St. John.
The first impressions when we got there was of infinite hospitality, loads of food. We were always eating at the table together. It was very pleasant. Then we went sightseeing both in Tbilisi and in Georgia, and it was so beautiful. Especially what I liked were the churches. The church style is lovely, and the country itself, especially the Caucasus, tremendous. That's magnificent. Yeah, it isn't, that that music much appeals to me. For one thing, I don't understand it very well, but I got the impression that it's very sophisticated. And this group is this wasn't a local production. It has some, imagine them traveling all over the world with it. And I thought it was very, I learned some. I like more melodic music, obviously. I had the sense this was a very high class. When we finally had the seminar, I was struck, which was very, very much the right thing, because the students were deeply interested. And what they were most interested in was ways of democracy. Got the impression that they tend to be independent, full of opinions, and of course there was a feeling of, even though the Russian occupation ended a long time ago, of just being released and free to think be with me is that it's not like anything else. It's a world unto itself, and an interesting world. The language, of course, is pretty inaccessible. The alphabet is totally new. It's nothing like Russian or Greek, where you can make out something. The country is so compact and beautiful in a small area. And the history turns out to be so complex and has tragic elements and triumphant elements.
I would encourage all of you to visit Georgia. It's a place that's wonderful in terms of the people. I mentioned already that the love that Nino shares and also your fellow classmate Helen shares is not one just out of naivete or because that's where you're from or anything like that. It's really based in some truth. When you go to Georgia, you see the tallest mountains in Europe, the Caucasus Mountains, the place where it's mentioned in many Greek myths that we know about. And you see wonderful people. You know, and just going for 1 year, and when I came back in 2008, I realized that I already had a family there.
I don't know if I can actually follow Eva Brand's description of Georgia, but I was invited to go to Georgia during the summer of 2010, and I had very much the experience that she did of such warm and interesting people. We went up into a mountain resort and had a week-long seminar, tutorials. It was the week of St. John's College with some students from Annapolis and Nari Safarian, who graduated from Santa Fe last year. You may know Nari. And the students were so interesting and so full of questions and were what I would call game. For instance, I was in charge of the laboratory, which we set up in the hotel bar. And we used vodka bottles to prop up our Pascal's vases and tubing. And we read some of the work of Pascal from the freshman laboratory manual and did experiments. And we did Euclid and we read Shakespeare. And it was so interesting to do this, just as if they were here in Santa Fe. So I would really encourage you all to, if you have the chance, to go to Georgia too and be part of one of these seminar weeks with the Georgian students from the new Galati Academy in Tbilisi. I have a very short, about 15-minute long speech that I would like to now read to you, but maybe I won't. Maybe what I will just do is to tell you my biggest impression of Georgia is about the great hospitality of the people. And it seems to me that they are hospitable even though they're kind of a crossroads between East and West and having many strangers and invasions and difficulties and language dealings with other people. When I was there, the Adiwashvili family decided to show me Georgia, which meant going to see all their relatives. I sat at every grandmother's table and had to eat and drink and eat some more and tell stories. And this was their idea of what Georgia really is. It strikes me that the evening tonight gives us that flavor from the delicious food that was prepared by so many hands, and the Project for Peace that is an extension of that kind of openness and willingness to be one with strangers. So I wanted to make a toast. And toasts are a very important part of Georgian culture. I didn't really understand this at first. It took a lot of toasts before I could get the hang of it. But one of the characteristics of a toast in Georgia is that they're very long and meandering. You tell stories about people, that reminds you of another story, there's gossip involved, there's history involved, there's singing involved, you know, and you're holding your glass and you're thinking, okay, now is it time? Is it time? But no, it's not yet time because another story needs to be told. And then a very strange tangent that doesn't seem to have anything to do with this toast. So that reminds me of a moment in the Odyssey. The episode when Odysseus visited the Phaeacians, and he was a stranger invited to the feast without knowing who he was or where he came from or what he was doing. He sat at the table with the Phaeacians and listened to a singer tell the story of the Trojan War and tell the story of his own sufferings. This is a quotation from the Odyssey, because I know that we haven't had any quotations from the Odyssey tonight. He sang how Odysseus endured the grimmest fighting that ever he had, but won it there too, with great-hearted Athena aiding. So the famous singer sang his tale, but Odysseus melted, and from his eyes the tears ran down, drenching his cheeks. As a woman weeps, lying over the body of her dear husband, who fell fighting for her city and people, he tried to beat off the pitiless day from city and children. She sees him dying and gasping for breath, and winding her body about him, she cries high and shrill, while the men behind her force her up and lead her away into slavery. Such were the pitiful tears Odysseus shed from under his brows, but they went unnoticed by all the others. The king, Alcinous alone, understood what he did and noticed. Odysseus here is compared to the one who waits at home, who also has a stake in the war and the consequent suffering. King Alcinous understood and noticed. This is what I wish for all of you, the ability to attend to small details that suggest suffering. Only after supper did the host ask who Odysseus was and what his family name was. It turns out, in Georgia, with an ancient culture of encountering strangers, both friendly and hostile, that the stories that are told turn out to be as much for the teller as for the listener, the one who suffers and the one who notices suffering. So let us raise a glass to the project for peace. May the participants find healing and common ground. May they find a thread among many ways stories can be told about one's own history and that of others. May they find friendship and peace. Galmartos, may the God of victory be with you.
Hi folks, we're about, oh good, you can hear me. We're about half the St. John's Jazz Band over here. We're very happy to be here tonight. We're not singing a song about the fall of Troy. We will be singing a song called Georgia on My Mind.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just a sweet soul song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Project for Peace in the Republic of Georgia will liberate and inspire Georgian youth affected by Georgian.
After so long preparation, we are done, and it was good. I'm glad that people enjoyed it, and I'm happy and I'm proud that on the day of the Easter, today is the day of Easter in my country, and I'm standing here and presenting my country, and I'm proud of that. I love you guys, and thank you everyone who was able to make it. Thank you. Bye. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Yeah, I need that.
Kisses, one last kiss to the camera. And we're
So the last thing that I would love to say to appreciate all of these people who helped us, and beginning with you, Mr. Gonzalo Gamaro. So yeah, people put a lot of effort and they did a great job. I don't know, I can't even find words to appreciate that, and I don't know, I don't have words. Thank you guys, and I hope that I will have opportunity to pay that back and help you in your cultural nights. Thank you for doing this. Take care.
This man right here.
Did my best. Oh my god, I have to
Justin.
The tech genius. Oh my god.